On. Hey guys, welcome to XiaLand. We're doing a review and a breakdown of Guy Ritchie's The Covenant because I saw that yesterday, which means I still kind of remember everything that's going on. So yeah, I wanted to talk about this movie and let you guys know what I thought of it in case you were wanting to go see it or just wanted to talk about it with someone who has seen it. I watched this last night. It was something that I'd seen the trailer for. I was like, this looks really cool. I want to go check it out. It did not disappoint. This movie was awesome. It was really, really, really good. So The Covenant is about basically what happened in Iraq when, oh no, Nick's already shaking his head. Afghanistan. Sorry, I did this Iraq. Afghanistan, geez, I'm already forgetting. This is what happens. Basically what happened in Afghanistan, we were there for 20 years, right? So we were there occupying for 20 years, fighting the Taliban, and we picked up and left, and everybody that's something that definitely was talked about a lot online. I remember seeing people talk about it a lot. We picked up and left without any sort of an exit strategy or plan of any sort. And what happened? Chaos. All hell broke loose. The Taliban basically came and took over immediately. They came back over. It was terrible for any of the translators who helped the U.S. military while we were over there. I think it said at the end of the movie that over 300 had been murdered and thousands more were in hiding. It was awful for the women there. They were being ripped out of schools, told that they couldn't go back to school anymore, having to wear hijabs. I feel like I'm saying that wrong and I feel like a uncultured swine, but whatever. When before they weren't, women had jobs, they were newscasters, and then all of a sudden that all had to stop as soon as the Taliban came back in. So basically we went over there for 20 years and then left and completely screwed life up for those people. So that's essentially what this movie is about. It takes a much more personal look into what that could have been like. So Jake Gyllenhaal was the main character. Sergeant John Kinley, he played. And in the beginning of the movie, it shows an Afghanistan, oh my God, what's a translator and another army member gets blown up and they die. And so, of course, they need a new translator. And that's when Dar Salim, he plays the character named Ahmed, and he's one of the translators. He comes in. They kind of say that he's a loose cannon. He's hard to work with, all that sort of stuff. I just have to say that I've never seen this guy. I've never heard of him. He actually is from Baghdad, and he fled as a 6-year-old to, oh my gosh, the Netherlands, I think, is where he went. Or Finland. It was one of those. Denmark. It was Denmark. He fled to Denmark as a refugee when he was 6 years old. This is real life. So this is the actor, not the character. This is the actual actor. So he is from Baghdad. When he was 6 years old as a refugee, he flew to Denmark, fled to Denmark. So he's a Danish actor now, technically, but he is from Baghdad. I just have to say, this guy was phenomenal. He was honestly my favorite part of the whole movie. I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal's a great actor. I thought he did really good. He's always good. So in most roles I see him in, I'm like, yeah, Jake, it's going to be a solid performance. And it was. So that did not disappoint. But this guy, I've never heard of him. Obviously, he's Danish, so you don't see a lot about him. But anyway, he was phenomenal. He was so good. His facial movements when they were acting and a lot of the feelings that came through. There was definitely a point in this movie where I was like, they better get Ahmed a freaking visa before this movie's over. I'm going to be pissed. Like, you're really feeling this movie. So it was, I think the only real critique I kind of have for it was the pacing was a little bit weird. There were times when it felt very quick and then times where it slowed down, so it felt a little bit stuttery. That's kind of my only critique of this movie. Otherwise, it was a freaking great movie. Sort of covenant, it's a bond, it's owing someone, it's sort of the bonds of brotherhood, which has been looked at in movies a lot. In army movies, they often look at sort of the bonds of brotherhood between people in the military. They have a shared trauma, something that they've gone through together. Also, hello, everybody. This is live. This is not pre-recorded, but I like to try to keep it so people can also watch it afterwards because I know that that's where a lot of people will come from. But anyway, so that's something that's been explored in media countless times, but the way they did it this time was really interesting because it was, they had a shared hatred, I guess, for the Taliban, because there are a lot of people in Afghanistan that hated the Taliban as well. They made life miserable for them. They were extreme. They were killing people. They were blowing people up. They were taking sons from their homes, basically, and they were going off to join the Taliban. And you had these parents and mothers and fathers that were like, that was our baby, and now they're going to blow themselves up. So there were a lot of people in Afghanistan that hated the Taliban as well. And so it sort of showed the devastation that it caused on both sides. It was good. It was a really good movie. Like, it hits you right in the feels. I'm going into spoiler territory right now, so if you haven't seen it yet, I'd say block this out for a minute or so. Going into spoilers, in the beginning of the movie, it shows an entire, I'm saying troop, but I feel like that's the wrong squad, an entire squad. Yeah, so it has an entire squad. Pretty close to the beginning of the movie, the entire squad is killed. Everyone dies, and the only people that are left are Sergeant John Kinley, which is Jake Gyllenhaal, and Ahmed the interpreter, which is played by Dar Salim, and I know I'm saying his name wrong, so I just have to apologize for that. But they're the only two left alive, and the entire movie just sort of shows their journey. They're deep in enemy territory. They have to get out. At one point, Jake Gyllenhaal, John Kinley, is injured. He gets shot twice. He has no idea what's going on. He's in extreme amount of pain. He's lost a lot of blood. And Ahmed comes through. Like, you can't not fall in love with Ahmed. Like, he's the man. He comes in and saves him and literally is pulling him on a cart. Like, I have goosebumps right now. I had goosebumps when I was watching it. I was like, I almost cried. I was like, this is so it's not real. This isn't based on a true story. Guy Ritchie is awesome. He really did a good job on this. This is not based on a true story. It's not based on a book. It's based on what happened in Afghanistan. It's taking from what was going on over there, and then it made it a lot more personal, so you cared. And people did bond with their interpreters. So at the end, they also show a lot of photos of the people in the military, people in the army, taking pictures with their interpreters, and you can just see it. Like, they're so happy together, they're smiling big, they're goofing off with each other. So they had these bonds with their interpreters, and then we left, and the interpreters who helped, I mean, they got wrecked. Them and their entire families. It was like there were like 300 of them. We promised them that we would get them visas and we would get them out of there, and we left them and we did absolutely nothing. So it's not I just got to say, it's not helping us when we do things like that, and other countries are like, look at America. And look, I love my country. I love that I was born here. I'm incredibly lucky. I could have been born in God only knows where else. And this is a great country, but we do a lot of messed up stuff. And this is one of them. It's not cool what we did at all. And yeah, absolutely. This is one of those things where it showed at one point, Jake Gyllenhaal spent, I think it showed, there were like day 35 where he's on the phone with, I guess, the U.S. government. I don't even know who you would get in contact to try to get this done, to try to get a visa for Ahmed, and it just wasn't happening. And he's like losing his mind. At one point, he's drinking, he's drunk, he's screaming at whoever's on the phone. So yeah, it was very touching. It was a really good movie. I think that if you want to just go watch a solid movie, and I know that this is something that I've talked about before as someone who loves, I mean, I've read comics as a kid. I watched all of the cartoons. When the movies came out, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, I was so excited. And when they started making live action movies of it, but they've kind of ruined it for me. And not only because it's been, I don't know the word I'm looking for. I guess saturated. Yeah, it's been oversaturated. We're starting to get a little bit of superhero fatigue. But then on top of that, the movies just aren't good. The ones that are coming out are upsetting. They're mediocre. I often leave the theater being like, it's all right. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. Yeah. And that's just not what I want. I want to leave the theater feeling, I don't know, I don't have to feel inspired, but I want to leave it being like, man, that was awesome. I had such a good time. And and actually this movie is kind of inspiring in an odd way, but this is what I wanted. And I think if you're looking for something that's different and you just want to go watch a good, solid movie with good writing, good acting, a good story. Again, I said the pacing was a little bit weird. So I'm curious if other people feel the same way. If you've seen it, let me know in the comments, because I don't know if that's just me or if other people felt the same way. Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, that's a good point. Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't realize that this movie had done so well because I'd seen a couple of reviews sort of slamming it a little bit. And so I was going into it like, and then I left and I was like, no, I really enjoyed that. So whoever reviewed the movies clearly are not on par with everyone else. But even critics gave this 81% and audience score gave it a 98%. So this movie is doing incredibly well. So if you want to go see a good, solid movie, I say go watch it. This movie is awesome. It's 100% worth seeing. If you have seen it, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the pacing, acting, everything that you thought about it. I know this isn't super nerd focused, which is a lot of what my content is and a lot of what I've talked about over the years, especially from AfterBuzz and on. But I just enjoyed this movie so much, and I thought that you guys might like to know whether or not it's good to go see, or just maybe if you haven't heard of it. Because I feel like I heard of it, but it's not been promoted very heavily, which is, it's disappointing because there have been a few movies that I felt like I've missed because they weren't promoted and I didn't know about them. But this movie was really, really very good. It was phenomenal. I definitely recommend going to see it. Leave this video a like if you want me to do more movie reviews and TV show reviews, because I definitely have been enjoying it. I want to keep doing it. It's so fun to talk about movies and TV. That's how I started. That's literally how I started getting into this business. This industry was talking about movies and TV at AfterBuzz. So I'd like to definitely do more of that. So if you like this, please leave me a like, leave me a comment, because it helps out the algorithm a lot. And I love how much you guys engage. You've been wonderful. Hello, everyone. And I will see you guys next time. Also, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button if you like it. There's other content here. I've got some more content in the works that we're planning out. So there's going to be a lot of good stuff. And I will see you guys. No, this is not a true story. Thank you, Reese. No, it's not a true story. Healer, you missed the entire thing. But that's okay. Watch it afterwards and let me know what you think. This is just a quick review, but basically short story long, I thought the movie was awesome. It was really good. There are a couple of standout performances that I was like, oh my God. So it's 100% worth watching. I love all of you guys. Thank you so much. I will see you next time. Bye.